Hello and welcome to Little Acorns.
Hello.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
The Lord be with you.
And also with you.
Let us bless the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Excellent.
What are we doing today then, Mark?
Well, I'm starting lots of questions. I have lots and lots of questions.
This is tricky.
Yeah, okay. So,
Brain.
Yeah, engage the brain.
Yeah.
I have some things that, and I wonder, what do they have in common? So first off, I have these.
Rocks.
Just bits of stone, aren't they?
Right.
They're bits of stone. These are actually special bits of stone, but they're just bits of stone. So what do they have in common with, hang on,
Bit fern.
a bit of fern. Is it from my garden?
Okay.
There we go, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've got some, as a bit of a bay tree.
Yeah.
Bit of a bay tree.
What does it smell?
Should do.
Oh, nice.
A little bit.
Yeah.
And also I have a flower.
I can't remember what they're called.
They're peonies.
So they are.
Yes. So I have rocks. I have plants. So we have all of these things. What do they have in common?
Right. Well, they don't all begin with a P.
They don't all begin with a P.
That would be.
And are they all alive?
Unless there's a silent P in fern.
Fern. Fern.
Well, they were all alive, and presumably they're still living. Just
well.
Yeah.
Actually,
well, the rocks aren't alive, so it can't be that.
it's not that, is it?
And the rocks came off bigger rocks, presumably.
Shall I give you a clue?
Go on then.
We are doing a series on something, aren't we?
Yes.
At the moment.
Yes.
And this is connected to that.
Right. So we're doing about creation,
We are.
and we've done 2 days.
We've done 2 days.
So this is day 3.
Getting very close.
Plants.
God created all of these things, we believe, on the 3rd day.
Yes.
The book of Genesis says that God created the sea and the animals in the sea. He created the vegetation after he created the land.
Yeah.
So he did all of these amazing things. Yes, it really is. So bay leaves we quite often use in cooking
yes.
because they smell so gorgeous. And of course the peony, really, really beautiful. Lovely little flower.
There's nothing quite
Lovely
so beautiful as peony.
And actually, do you think this plant produces this flower for us so that we can admire it and put it in a vase in our house and do all of these things? Do you think that's what a plant flowers for?
No. Because let's face it, plants generate other life, don't they?
Well, exactly, isn't it? Exactly.
Insects and bees.
Well, yes, of course, because the bees and the insects, they take their goodness from the flower.
They do.
And then while they're doing that, they spread the pollen, so allowing the plants and the trees to make seeds and then to grow everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
So one thing helps another. And actually one thing doesn't do very well if the other thing, and so these things are all interconnected, aren't they? Like a great big net, like a great big net. I've got something else which I think
this
really cool.
You'll like this. This is really impressive.
This is really cool. Okay, so I've got another herb. This is called a herb.
Oh,
yes.
Look at that.
Look at these.
Isn't that awesome?
Right? And these are basil plants. And I took cuttings of a basil plant, and all I did was I stuck it in some water. And can you see what they're making there?
Oh,
can you see?
Roots.
It is.
Roots.
They're producing roots, aren't they?
When I was at school,
yes,
a long time ago, we used to grow cress.
Oh yes.
On blotting paper, actually.
Yes, absolutely.
Just kept the blotting paper
absolutely.
wet.
You know, all you need is a little bit of water, a little bit of heat, a little bit of light, and all of these things. So God created all of these things on the 3rd day.
Yeah.
And it's incredible.
It's amazing. And it just goes to show actually how important water is.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly to some of the less developed countries, it's
actually,
desperate.
We all need water. I think we are something like 90% water, aren't we?
Yeah.
You know, most of us is just water. We're just like a big bag of water just walking around.
Well, an octopus is what, 98% water?
Well,
and you think, well, why bother?
Yes.
No, jellyfish, not an octopus,
jellyfish.
98% water.
Yes. You know, so water is so important, but as is land and as are the trees, and all of these things are interconnected.
They're brilliant.
And without one, the rest suffer.
But all fall down.
All connected together. We're all connected together.
Yeah.
One of my favourite facts is there is a tree called a magnolia. which are beautiful.
Beautiful.
And people have them in their gardens and they produce these really big flowers, these really, really, really big flowers. And the thing about a magnolia is it's also very, very, very old.
Is it?
It's so
I didn't
old.
know that.
It's so old that actually the insect that pollinates it, a bee cannot pollinate it because bees were not around when the flowers were produced.
Really?
It's actually pollinated
Wow.
by beetles because beetles were the only insects that were there.
Is that old?
Yeah.
So it's prehistoric then, is it?
It's 140 million years since they stopped evolving in that way.
So is it one of the oldest plants then?
Actually, all flowering plants come from magnolias. So magnolias are the oldest of flowering plants. So things like grasses would have come from sort of like some kind of magnolia and all of these things. So
I did
it's
not know
all
that.
this network all
That is
together.
amazing.
And it is. It's just absolutely, absolutely astonishing.
So next time you see a magnolia, just take a chance to look at it. There's quite a few in Winslow in people's front gardens.
And all of these things, actually, all of these things, because all of the plants and the rocks and the basil, and actually, if you fancy taking cuttings and seeing how things grow, that itself is wonderful.
Yeah.
And God made all of these things on the third day.
He did.
It is. It's incredible.
What a lovely day that must have been.
And of course, although we eat all sorts of things, don't we? We eat burgers and we eat buns and we eat chips and we eat all of these things, and all of the things that we eat, first of all, come from plants. Because even if you eat meat, the meat that you eat will have been an animal who ate plants.
Yeah. And of course, they're trying to encourage people to eat more plant-based stuff to save on the ecology.
Yeah, but plants make their own food. They actually make their own food.
Very clever thing.
It's very, very amazing. It's amazing.
Good
It's
job
amazing.
they can't rule the world. Well, no, I don't know that it is, because I think it would be a better place.
They may be
to
doing a
honest.
better place than we are sometimes, yes.
Yes.
But so all of these things from these rocks, and this is a very shiny one.
That's
I don't know if you
brilliant,
see.
that.
Actually, I found that in a river, and I had to wade into the middle of the river to see it. But it's just a bit of stone. It's just a bit of stone.
Pretty.
And yes, and all of these things, the rocks, the sea, the vegetation, were all created by God on the third day. Now, I wonder, where's day 3? Can anyone remember what God created on day 1? Have a think. We talked about it 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
So, what do you reckon?
Begins with an L.
It does become out, yes, yes,
And very important to everybody.
indeed. What was it?
Light.
Light, didn't he? God created light.
And
Can
I
anyone-
can't remember what I created on the
So
second
do you
day.
worry? Okay, so yes, so and on the second day, can you remember what God created? I'll give you a clue. It's up there. I had a kite, yes, last week, didn't
Oh,
I? I had a kite. So what did God create? It was the sky, wasn't it?
it was the sky.
So God drew the water up and he made the sky. And then on the third day, he made the land, he made the sea, he made the vegetation, all of these things. So we're starting to build this bigger picture.
Next week.
Next
very exciting.
It gets even better.
It
just
does.
keeps getting better and better.
It's the
and
gift
better.
that keeps on giving.
It is, it is, it is, it is. And so we just thought we'd share that with you this week.
Yes.
So and lastly, I have a question to ask.
What is your question?
So we know an awful lot about the world, don't we?
Yeah.
We know about pandas. I've never seen a panda, but we know about
See
pandas.
one in a zoo?
I've never have.
Have you
And
not?
there's one in Edinburgh
Whip
Zoo, but
snake
I've
they
never
used to
seen.
have them.
Yes. So, but we know all about whales and all of these kind of animals and plants from around the world, and we know an awful lot. If you think about how many plants, even though we only see a small amount of them that we know about, or animals, or all of these things, we know an awful lot. How much of the natural world do you think that we have as a species discovered so far?
Oh, but very little. They're discovering new species of things every day, aren't they? I don't know.
So
10%?
Do you reckon it's 60%? Do you reckon we, or half, say half, do you think we know half of all animals?
I don't know. No, probably not. No.
A quarter? For every one animal we know, there are 3 out there, and plants and fungi and all
I
of
don't
these
think
things.
it's even a quarter then.
Yeah, your first answer was right.
It's about 10%.
For every 1 bit of the natural world that we know, scientists reckon there are 9 that we don't.
whoa.
That's incredible, isn't it?
It is.
You know, so we've not even begun to
No.
work out just how
We've
beautiful
not destroyed
God's
enough
creation
yet,
is.
apparently.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but we just, although God's creation is so big, it's just absolutely.
It is.
It's
just a wonder.
yes, just blows your mind.
It does.
Just blows your mind. On that note, shall we have a little prayer?
Yes.
Okay. So let us put our hands together and let us close our eyes. So, dear God, thank you for all the wonderful things that you've given us, all those gifts of mountains and hills and valleys, on waterfalls and rivers, seas, and all the plants that we rely on so heavily in our lives. They are not only useful, but they are beautiful too, and we need to protect them. And can we do this all in your Son's holy name? Amen.
Amen.
Shall we have the Lord's Prayer? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. So have a lovely week. We will be doing day 4 next week.
Indeed, very exciting. Day 4. All kicks off day 4.
All kicks off. And take care, please do. Yes, and we'll see you then.
Keep looking around.
Indeed. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.